Cast.
They fight for their families. They fight for each other. They fight for this great university.
What's up, Buckeye Nation? You're tuned in to the Buckeye Cast.
Buckeye Cast.
When I needed you the most, you gave us your very best.
These fellas were born and bred in the Buckeye State.
Handle your business, man. Everything you got. 4 to 6 A to B, 9 strong.
Buckeye Cast.
Visit us at thebuckeyecast.com and follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at the Buckeye Cast.
Buckeye Cast.
Now here's your host, Joe Warwick.
A great Buckeye. 1, 2, 3, go die!
What's up, Buckeye Nation? Here we are, Season 3. This is our Season 3 premiere episode. You believe this shit? If you would have told me 2 seasons ago that we would never make it to Season 3, I would say, you're probably right. What about you, Sean?
3's my lucky number. I knew we'd make it this far.
Okay.
4, we'll see about 4. I don't know about 4.
Yeah. Well, let's suffer through 3. This is episode 44, by the way. Lucky 44. That seems like a lot. It seems like we've talked a lot to fill 44 episodes. But, yeah. So I got Shawn in, like I mentioned. As you all know, you know how to find us on social media at the Buckeye Cast. Hit the website, thebuckeyecast.com. And I know nobody wants to call or text the show, but, you know, you'd think if you had an opinion about something Buckeye related, you would use it. Number 614-414-2274. Bring it. So, let's get into this real quick. We want to talk, obviously, the big news that no one's talking about is the Zach Smith firing by Urban Meyer. I haven't heard anybody talk about this. Have you, Sean?
Who?
Somebody talked about this? Zach Smith.
Who?
You might have heard of him. He formerly the wide receivers coach for Ohio State University.
Oh, yeah. I heard we had a coach at that position.
Yeah, there was
Earl
one.
Bruce's grandson.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, he was holding it down. So anyway,
yeah.
Everybody should know, if you're listening to this show, you better have some information, because we're not here to give you the info. We're here to give you opinions on the info. And as of Friday, Herb unleashed a nice statement. I thought really showed where he stood and his thoughts on the whole problem. And then Zach. It was these two messages were almost in concert with each other. Zach went on Columbus Radio and then was on ESPN Friday evening, and Herb's message came out Friday afternoon. So all pointing fingers at Gene Smith and the administration having knowledge of the Zach Smith issues from 2015 and then the most recent issue in May. So what do you think, Sean?
Well, obviously, you know, at first when it came out and administrative leave, I'm like, oh my gosh, then we're done. And you know what? Frankly, if Herb was covering up something like that, then you know what? Fine, get rid of Herb. Ohio State football is bigger than anyone. Yep. And if Herb was doing something shady, then Herb can go, and we'd go through a bumpy couple years maybe, but we'll still be Ohio State, and we'll get through it. And so that's the type of program I'd rather be associated with. That being said, after what Herb came out with, and then what I heard from Zach Smith, I'm 100% convinced that Herb's gold on this, and I've got from what I know, at least my opinion right now, I've got his back 100%. I wish I was down there this weekend going to that rally or whenever they're planning to do that.
Monday, yeah.
But if he followed the channels, you know what? You got asked a question on something that came up like a day or two before. You weren't really prepared, and you basically lied at Big Ten Media Days. Yeah, I don't think you did that to lie, because you weren't trying to hide anything, because you actually followed protocol, if I'm to believe what his letter says. And I do at this point, because Gene Smith admitted, and Zach admitted that Gene Smith called him off the road. So it got to Herb's boss. At that point, if it gets to your boss, Herb's free and clear. And that's how I feel about it. I mean, I guess if Herb knew for months and months and didn't tell, and then Gene found out, no, then that's a different story. But the way it sounds to me is maybe the Powell police contacted the university. Gene might have known before Urban.
That's very possible, yeah.
So I don't know. It would be a total shame if this comes down on Urban Meyer. He's got nothing to do with this, and he may be, loyalty and not nepotism, because it's not family, but it almost is, because it's Earl Bruce's grandson. Blind
loyalty is almost unfortunate.
As we've said for years now, who on this podcast or in Buckeye Nation has been a giant fan of Zach Smith? I mean, I will give him credit. He's a good recruiter. Yeah. But I feel like we've had so many people in, high 4-star guys that have underachieved. So, like I said, if they were listening to this podcast, we would have fired him in 2014 or 2015.
Yeah,
and
he wouldn't have made it.
This wouldn't have been our problem at all.
Yep. Yeah. Everybody knows that listens to the show regularly that I bang on him the hardest. And if you listen to the TBC Extra Points from Monday, I really threw him very obviously under the bus, and don't have time for this guy. This guy is an obvious train wreck, no matter how he wants to portray himself in these interviews. I believe about half of what he says, which is probably being generous.
I thought he came out and gave a good statement, though, that, hey, pretty much said that Gene Smith pulled him off, so there was action taken.
Yeah.
I don't think he's lying about that. And I think he's like, no, to tie this to Herb is like ludicrous. So,
yeah.
I mean, at least don't try to bring down the program. I mean, your grandfather who just died is beloved in all of our.
Yeah.
Grandson is fucking destroying Buckeye football.
Mm-hmm. And I think he's aware of that. I think he knows that he could easily take down the program if he wanted to go the revenge route, which would be really sad when he has nothing to stand on,
No, but yeah, you're right. He could make a big stink in the press and say Urban Meyer knew and whatnot,
and turn it into a he said kind of situation.
And then you'd have to. That'd be a mess. So
the program loses in the long run.
Look, I don't know nothing about his marriage. It obviously wasn't very good, but I don't know. She sounds about as crazy as they get to. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I appreciate Brett McMurphy's instigative reporting and all that shit, but he got one point of view. One point of view. Why didn't he start asking others outside of Courtney, what she was like? Why didn't he get more? Let's see more of her personality, like as a whole, not just.
Well, they never even asked. I mean, it's
right.
One thing that if you don't get them, if you ask and they refuse, but yeah, he had no desire to go after any other opinion. It's like, I'm going to give you this one side, and are you kidding me? Ask any cop, ask any person with a brain in a domestic dispute with your wife. If you get one side, you do not have the truth. I don't care whose side it is.
Exactly. That's why I'm not going to defend Zach Smith, because I think he's a train wreck. But obviously, he was not the sole problem in this entire issue. Sure, he was not a good guy, but I think she was part of the issue as well. And that's the thing is, you only went because we're in such a very Me Too sensitive society right now that everybody just wants a guy to take the fall for anything that goes wrong in a relationship.
True.
And so anyway, I see why he's doing these interviews. It's not just to defend Herb, it's about defending him, because he doesn't want to have to be stuck doing a regular straight job. If he did nothing right now, he would be he would have to find another career. He would never coach again. Not at any level. So I get, you could say there's a reason why he's doing these interviews. There's two sides to everything. But I don't know. What do you think about the way things have kind of progressed, and what do you think about? We haven't heard anything from the university or Gene Smith.
Well, no, we haven't, and to me that's concerning. But right now, I'm like 90% that Meyer makes it through this. There's a little, part of me that's still scared, but I never know with these guys. Why is he even on administrative leave? If Smith and his higher ups knew of it, what's Meyer on administrative leave for? Because he didn't want to answer questions about something, so basically denied it at Big Ten Media Days. I mean, that's the fucking charge.
Yeah, and from what I've heard, if you want to fire people for lying to the media, then good luck finding any college football coaches.
I know, but he should have just said, no, I don't want to comment on that.
Yeah, he should have been a dickhead like Saban and say, fuck you, I'm not answering anything about Zach Smith. That would have solved the entire problem, because he really looked unprepared at Big Ten Media Days, and I don't know how he wasn't expecting these questions.
Right.
Especially when we fired the guy like the day before.
Right.
So, yeah. And then, so you want to touch on the rumors about Big Ed?
Well, you sent that to me. Where's that coming from?
That's coming from word on the street. Man on the street says that little Big Ed Warner is a little kind of a jilted lover, a former Buckeye coach, and is shopping this story around to multiple outlets. Nobody else.
He was there in 2015, right?
He definitely was, yeah.
Yeah, so
national championship year. Yeah, yeah. He didn't leave until 16 or 17. But anyway, yeah. Very interesting how nobody's talked about anybody else getting this story out there except for Ed Warner. And there's multiple coaches. Chris Ash was there. Tom Herman was already gone. Who else was there? I don't think Shiana was in yet, but anyway, I'm thinking of coaches that were in and out around that period, and Ed's probably the one that would be the most vindictive because he got sent to Minnesota.
Yeah, because he won a national champion with being on the O-line. Then we bumped him up to OC. He totally sucked. JT had a terrible fucking year.
Yeah.
And then he went to Minnesota to be their O-line coach for a cup of coffee. Yeah. And now he's at Michigan.
Oh, yeah, that's right. See, that's when Tim Beck and Ed Warner were sharing the OC duties, and neither one of them were worth a shit. So, yeah.
That being said, I always thought Warner was a good O-line coach. But if he
Definitely.
did this, I hope he did it, and I hope the Buckeyes find out positively that he did it.
Oh,
and,
I hope they
we
just assume. I don't care if they need. I don't think they need proof. I assume he did it, and that just adds fuel. You know, he was a good coach, good O-line coach, but that's it. He's a terrible OC and terrible at recruiting. And Michigan is going to see that in the next couple of years, that when their O-line starts to falter, you can point the finger at him, Big Ed. I think it's interesting. He was shopping around the story, you know, like almost.
If that's true, that is fucking dirty pool, man.
Yeah.
I cannot believe.
Yeah.
Well,
so it goes in college football.
You know what? Good. Figures. What a turncoat.
Yeah. So yeah.
I hope our D line is so motivated with this garbage O line that they destroy it.
Yeah.
Peterson, whatever the fuck.
So yeah, we got Brian Hartline coming in, interim wide receivers coach. I got the utmost confidence in this guy. I know Herb is always apprehensive about bringing in NFL guys because they're not typically going to work hard. They're not going to like to go into the living rooms of 17-year-olds and sell them on a program. But I think Brian Hartline from Canton, Ohio, hard-working kid, worked his ass off at Ohio State, worked his ass off for a 9-year NFL career. The guy looks the part, and I hear a lot of great things in his rapport with the players. He's like very charismatic, and the guys gravitate to him. So I think this is an upgrade to me at the wide receiver position.
I would say yes to most of that. I got a ton of respect for Hartline. I never really liked him, other than he was just always money. But I was like, gosh, how does this guy do it?
Hate those reliable guys.
He's not that fast, and then I was like, okay, fine. He's nice career at Ohio State, and then goes on the NFL and proves me wrong again. Just money, just the guy you can rely on. So I don't know. I love me some Brian Hartline and think he's just quality person, not just a good football player, which obviously he's that. And I charismatic. I can see why the guys would gravitate to him, and I like the fact that the only reason to me Brian Hartline probably did as well as he did at Ohio State and the NFL is he probably worked harder than everyone else.
Yep.
And so that's the kind of guy that it doesn't matter if he was in the NFL or that before or has money, and it's not about that. I guess we'll see, but for me, from what I've seen from here, I like where this kid's at, where his head's at.
Yeah, he had to make Terrell Pryor look good, so that's a job in itself. So, all right, let's get into this 2018 schedule. You got anything to cover on the saga?
I'm good on that. Free Urban Meyer.
You think Herb comes back by what, Wednesday, Thursday?
I hope so, man. It's got to be this week. I'm hoping tomorrow or Tuesday, frankly, but. Yeah. I don't know what that committee or whatever did over the weekend. Hopefully, well, hey, yeah, okay, Herb lied here. I hear some people speculating, I guess we're going that maybe he could get like a suspension just for lying to the media, but not gone from the program. I think that's bullshit too.
Yeah, that's a lame fucking reason. If that's the case, then every fucking coach in the country should be suspended. I know.
It's silly. I know.
I think him and the university come to some kind of minor penalty. Maybe it's a fine. Worst case scenario, a 1-game suspension. Whatever. But I think they both come to the conclusion that maybe they both fucked up, because it sounds like when he passed this information up the ladder, that maybe it fell through the cracks and somebody didn't follow up properly. So it sounds almost more like I'm pointing at the finger at the administration, not at Herb, but maybe they both share some responsibility.
Well, I think Herb deserves none, other than his misstatement at the Big Ten Media Day. I'm not even sure that upper management and that does either, because, okay, something was said or whatnot, but the police report, again, doesn't contain him, and no charges were filed, so you can't get rid of a guy, in 2015 for allegations that there's no proof of, essentially.
Right.
And but you're right. If anybody failed at that point, and if everyone knew it to be true, then I feel that the athletic department should have let that out. That's not Urban Meyer's job.
Yeah, it's not Herb's job to be the investigative guy, a detective or whatever. Like Zach said, Zach really defended Herb well and said, it's not a head coach's job to go checking up on people's personal lives, And there's a point to be made. I'm not sure it's valid very much when there's suspected violence, but he said that, this is between a man and a woman and their marriage. I don't know, Zach. I'm not really on board with that. If there's known domestic violence, I think you've kind of opened yourself up for.
But you known when? Possibly in
starting 09.
Possibly in 09. And then we're not sure that there's been any since then, are we? Probably, but we don't know that to be.
Yeah. Well, there's no arrest or charges. So
to me, that means no.
Yeah.
Because if police are called in a case like that, they have to, even if the girl doesn't want to press charges, the police got to. They got to take them in, and they got to.
Especially if there are noticeable marks or physical issues.
And that didn't happen ever. So I don't know what the university and Urban and anyone else is supposed to do with that information when it's like, well, okay, but the police don't say that you hit her, but we're going to fire you.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that. You'd sue their ass.
Oh, check this out. I got some fucking breaking news. Just in. A lawyer's deep dive into Brett McMurphy's reporting on OSU/Meyer. Screenshots show McMurphy has been editing his reports on Facebook after Big Ten Media Day to walk back grossly inaccurate reporting. Interesting. We'll get into that later.
That McMurphy is a douchebag.
No, I have no problem with the guy because he did all the legwork to get her side of the story. But that's the problem. He only got her side of the story. You did not get to know the person from other points of view. I tweeted at him yesterday morning, first thing. I asked him, I said, props on getting one point of view, but what else you got? And there's nothing. When Zach did that interview Friday evening on ESPN and said he never committed domestic violence, maybe that was a lie, I don't know. But then McMurphy releases like a couple text messages where he apologized to a message from Courtney where she reminded him that he strangled her. He said, "I'm so sorry," and so I don't know. And then now
I saw that. I saw that text, and I mean, yeah, that doesn't look good. But to me, that's not proof of anything.
Yeah, this has turned into a he said, she said kind of thing, as far as what happened when and all that shit. So I don't know. I just don't see cause for Herb to be fired or even suspended at this point. I mean, more than one game maybe. For what? I don't know. You're going to have to come with some really serious allegations to suspend him, because if you want to fire him, you got to go. He has like a $30 or $40 million buyout. So, yeah, anyway, moving along.
That's real money.
Yeah. So, regardless of who's coaching this fucking football team, we have a real camp that started Friday, and we have a real season coming up. So, we need to break down this fucking season, because the players on the field won't change, though the coaches in the box and on the sidelines may change. Probably not. So we got to run through this fucking schedule. Jeff's going to jump in when he can, and me and Shawn are going to give you our final. Excuse me. Me and Shawn are going to give you our final scores for each game, all 12, and a brief synopsis of why we feel this way. Ready to go? We got 12 of these to get through.
All right, let's rock it.
All right, September 1st. First day of the season, week 1 in Columbus. We got Oregon State.
Oregon State. What was their record last year? Like 2-10?
Oh, bad. It was real bad.
I think regardless, you're gonna have a pissed off Buckeye team.
Yeah.
And this game is going to get out of hand for Oregon State, I feel, and it's going to be in like the 57-10 blowout.
So you think that the offense is going to find its way real quick, like even with a new quarterback?
Well, he's going to have enough chances. He might have some bumps in the road. That's why we're not going to score 70.
Okay.
But the defense is going to be disgusting on this Oregon State team.
Yeah.
They're gonna have a hard time. They're gonna have their backs against the wall. We're gonna we should be setting up Haskins, at fucking midfield all day long with these guys, I'm guessing. Well, I don't know. We'll see with the new kick rules and stuff, but I feel like we're gonna be in a good spot. And then with Weber and Dobbins, it's gonna be too much, and I think the Buckeyes are gonna be mad, and then at least they're going to come out and play hard this first game.
Yeah, so you're seeing some pissed off, motivated guys because of the Urban Meyer suspension.
Yep. Whether he's back or not, that this even came to Urban Meyer.
These guys went 1-11 last year, by the way. Yeah. So I guess the Buckeyes will cover.
What's
whatever
the spread?
it is. I don't know. It shouldn't matter. I'm sure.
Probably 30.
Yeah. So we'll get to see some of Tate Martell in there. That sounds good. We'll get to see some freshmen in there. I like that.
I think we will get to see some Tate Martell in here. I don't know. I mean, hopefully, if it gets out of hand like I think it should. Mm-hmm. But I still want to give Haskins a lot of reps.
Yep.
Just throwing. I don't want him running it, just throwing the football.
Right.
Reading defenses, that type of shit.
Yeah. ESPN gives us a 98.8 FPI projection to win, so I think we're good.
You would think.
Yeah.
What did they give us last year at Iowa, though?
Nah, that was my game. I called that one out at the beginning of the year. We're gonna get to that too. I want to know what is the catch game for us. What is the game that we might not be ready for? What's up? You got me?
Yeah.
All right.
There you go.
So yeah, I called out Iowa last year as the gotcha game, and it got us. So as we move through the schedule, maybe we need to think about the gotcha game this year. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's gonna. Well,
There's a
that was
couple
a big
late.
gotcha.
So all right, let's shuffle on through. I'm going to give you a. You got a final score for the Oregon State game?
Yeah, I thought I said 57-10.
Ooh, nice. I like that. Yeah, I'm going to go like a 49-7. Again, Tate plays the second half. I think they get Dwayne and the starters out in the third quarter. Oregon State obviously comes in with nothing to lose and nothing to gain. But, yeah, I think it's an easy one. The defense probably smothers these clowns. I don't even know what they have on offense. Probably nothing. Going 1-11 last year. So
I know, it couldn't have been that good.
Week 2 at home versus Rutgers. So
Chris Ashes fighting Rutgers?
that's right, the Fighting
Charlotte
Ashes. Yeah. They can play some ball. They got to be getting better. I mean, his recruiting has to be improving, right?
I don't know. Has it been?
Let's see. They got. I have my Bible open right now. The Phil Steele 2018 college preview, and he has 7 returning starters on offense and 8 on defense. They finished 4-8 last year. 3-6 in the conference. So they haven't made a bowl in a few years. But
it's Rutgers, and they're in big trouble. Rutgers is still going to be a decade before you can compete in this league. So Rutgers, Ash, you're going to get blown out too. You're not going to get blown out as bad as Oregon State, if that makes you feel any better. But you're still going to get blown out 45-3 in Columbus.
I like that. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to go 42-6 on this game. I think Herb pulls off the throttle a little bit, and maybe the Rutgers defense gets a little better. I like Chris Ash runs a solid defense, so maybe he has some guys in there that can kind of finish the game almost, if you call it that. So. Week 3, this is the big one. This is the first big one of the season. TCU at Jerry World. So you can call it a neutral field, but I like to call it a home game for TCU. It's in Dallas, so
it's like an hour away, right?
If that, yeah. So interesting.
And what's that 8:00 start? Is that 8:00 Central or is that 8:00 Eastern?
I think it's got to be Eastern, right? Or is it? It's got to be Eastern. They would start a game at 9:00 Eastern, right? I mean, that doesn't make sense.
You wouldn't think. Not a game like that.
Yeah. Fox will have that one. So these Horny Frogs, Shawn, they went 11-3 last year.
I think ABC has that one.
Do they? Okay.
Yeah.
So they went 11-3 last year. These guys are no joke. 5 returning starters on offense, 6 on defense. Lot of experience. These guys beat up on Stanford in the Alamo Bowl. They're hard-nosed. Gary Patterson's been around almost 20 years at that program. These guys don't play around. They're going to play solid defense, and they kind of switch their offense over to that Texas Tech style of offense. So, what do you think? away from Columbus, the Buckeyes maybe struggle a little early on?
Well, I think, okay, now you're going up against, you're getting on a plane, playing against a team that's a top 25 team, Texas team. Yeah, I mean, this is gonna be your first test. I think maybe after playing Oregon State and Rutgers, might take them a quarter to shake off what good recruits and top talent does, and they're like, oh shit, this isn't as easy as it was. Now you're playing football, and I think it'll take them a minute, but I think they'll adjust and do just fine. And I think it'll end up being 31-17 Buckeyes.
Okay, so a 2-touchdown victory. Okay, yeah, they
but that won't come probably till the third quarter, I'm guessing. When it's going to be pretty close up to that.
Okay. They pound on these Big 12 teams where defense is an option and not necessarily a given. Some teams really just play offense. So I see them last year. They lost to Oklahoma. They lost to Iowa State. At Iowa State.
Early. Is that like first or second game?
No, that was like halfway through the season.
Was it?
Yeah. Yeah, it was like over halfway, actually. But it was a close game. Their offense didn't do anything. It was a 14-7 kind of final score. So.
Yeah, one of them shit-the-bed games. Iowa.
Exactly, yeah. Weird things happen in that fucking corn country, right? I mean, we can all attest to that. So, yeah, I think the Buckeyes win by 3 touchdowns. I think because TCU has a sophomore quarterback, I believe. Yeah. Kenny Trill was the quarterback last year, but their quarterback this year is a sophomore. Did not start last year at all, so I think the Buckeyes roll easily. Although TCU will put up a good defensive ball game early, I think we win easily by 3 touchdowns in Jerry, where we have past success, right?
Absolutely.
All right. So week 4. Against the mighty, mighty Green Wave of Tulane.
Where is Tulane?
That's New Orleans.
Oh.
Home of the gumbo.
Oh, I like me some gumbo.
Do you?
Get that shrimp etouffee.
There you go. I like the fucking, what's the little biscuits with powdered sugar?
Donuts?
No, you cocksucker. Anyway.
Give me some jambalaya.
Yeah. You like jambalaya?
So,
do you like a crab? Beignets. That's the thing I was thinking of. Beignets.
I love
That's the
about
shit,
beignets.
dude. Oh.
The weirdest thing you've ever said on this program.
And it's French. So you know it's good.
Yeah.
So, all right. The Mighty Green Wave. Do you want their history?
Well, yeah. What did they do last year?
5-7. This year they have 9 returning starters on offense, 5 on defense. These guys haven't been to a fucking bowl game since 2013. They're not good.
Well, as far as we know.
Yeah. They did beat Tulsa last year in a big one, 62-28. But then they lost to teams like FIU, hammered by Oklahoma, beat by Navy, hammered by Memphis. So, yeah. Not sure they bring much to the table. looking at their offense, yeah, they're struggling to get 300 yards on offense.
Well, they're really going to be struggling against our D-line. And I'm actually overstating these numbers. If our D-line is as sick as I think it should be, all these numbers, take 3 off them on what they score.
Okay.
But anyway, on Tulane.
Yeah. What kind of score you got?
Well, we're going to be coming off TCU away in Texas. It's a night game. You're not even going to get home. Nothing gets done on Sunday. And you're a little bit behind. Tulane, you come out flat. And if they scored 63 on someone last year, they probably got somebody that can make somebody look stupid at some point. So I've got 45-13 Buckeyes on Tulane. But we start out a little sloppy, make a couple mistakes with the short week and the travel.
Okay, I like that. So you think we come out a little flat early on and pour it on in the second half, probably?
Yeah, that'd be my guess. Probably when the second string gets in there, they really pour it on. They're all fired up.
Yeah, it's probably going to be an early game in Columbus, like a noon. So, yeah, guys come out a little hazy, a little hungover. I mean, I do. They don't, I hope. But, yeah, I agree. I'm going to go a little higher, though. I think we get a couple defensive scores in this game. I think they're right for the picking. Maybe we get a little Chase Young scoop and score. How you like that? The Predator takes one to the house.
We're gonna see some scoop and scores.
Yeah, or big BB Landers rumbling, bumbling, stumbling.
Oh, I'd love to see him.
Yeah. I think the D gets some scores in this game. I'm gonna go more like 59 to 7. Yeah, 59-7. Although I don't know if they can fucking score on us. Yeah, we'll give them one. We'll give them one touchdown.
They scored 63 in the game last year. There can't be. It's a lot of touchdown scoring in the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next. I like. So this is a big one. Penn State at Penn State. You know we're getting whited out like a motherfucker because that's all they know how to do. Week 5, big dogs coming in early. We're not really coming off a tough game, so I don't see this as a trap so much as just a fucking tough game. You know, a lot to be said though for what they've lost, in my opinion. A lot of dudes fell off that field, especially on defense. The Knits went 11-2 last year. They got 7 returning starters on offense, only 3 on defense, and on the offense they lost key contributors: Gesicki, obviously Barkley, and their top receiver.
They're 3 best players.
Exactly.
McSorley to me so overrated. We're gonna see who McSorley is this year without Barkley and that and Gesicki.
How are they giving this dude this Heisman hype already? I don't even get this shit.
Well, the Heisman hype ends. What is this, Saturday, September 29th?
Week 5, yeah. Cocksucker.
I'm not sold on him.
Well, these pole smokers have a fucking cupcake schedule coming into the Buckeye game. They got like App State, Pitt, Illinois. Are you kidding me? Kent State. So, no real challenge for them. We know what to expect from them. You know, it's going to be a tough environment, and you know, we just have to have our shit together. We have to have all of our P's and Q's covered. We can't be giving up block field goals, silly shit like that. that will cost the game.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a close one. This is not gonna be a fucking blowout.
No, it's not there. Not in that environment. It's going to be tough. It's going to be real tough, especially for a new quarterback. And this now, you can say what you want about TCU, but Penn State's been recruiting like a mother. Penn State's got some players. So I know there's a lot of new guys on defense, but with that wideout and how during the wideout, even without that, that's got to be one of the toughest places to play in the country.
Yeah, especially at night. It's going to be a night game.
We and you know what? When we win there, the last couple times, we have to rely on JT Barrett. I got a feeling we're going to have to rely on Haskins to win this football game, and that concerns me. This is the game. This is the first game where I see Haskins making some stupid mistakes because of the environment, and throwing, having 2 to 3 turnovers.
Yeah, and we've made those turnovers in the past and still won games,
And we've lost.
Sure, yeah. The turnovers typically will cost you the game. But as we saw in the national championship game and in 2014 and the game against Bama, we lost the turnover battle in both those games and still won handily. So, what do you see? What do you see a final score as? Do you think this goes to overtime? You think this is a nail biter to the end? What do you think?
I think it is a nail biter to the end, and not to forecast, but I'm finding it hard to see any team in our division go undefeated. This was one I'm like, all right, is this the game we lose? I feel like the Buckeyes are going to lose one. Is this the game they lose? I firmly believe this could be the game they lose. Okay. But right now, I'm going to go with Buckeyes 24-21 in a late game, hard fought, win it by a late field goal.
Okay.
Type of deal.
So you think our field goal kicker is going to actually make one?
Well, it's still September. There's a chance. There's a chance.
I haven't watched an Ohio State game in the last 5 years where we haven't missed at least one per game. But anyway, all right, I like that. I like the positivity. ESPN gives us 51.8% chance to win. Very interesting. That's almost half. Not sure how they give us the 1.8%, but yeah.
That makes me want to change it to, okay, that's our loss.
Yeah, right.
But man, you got to give me full disclosure.
Sorry. I think this is W just because we have 5 weeks to get ready, and Tulane is almost a bye. I think we're ready. I think Dwayne has his feet wet and has his rapport with his receivers. I think the running game is key, and the combo of Weber and Dobbins is going to run up and down the field on Penn State. They might slow us down in the first half, but that O-line is going to fucking lean on them third and fourth quarter.
They should, right?
And I think that's when you break it open. I don't think Penn State yet has the depth. I think they're building the depth through their great recruiting the last couple of years. I don't think they have the depth yet to go 4 quarters on the D-line. So
I mean, it's hard to argue, especially when we got Weber and Dobbins pounding the rock.
Yeah. So, barring a blocked field goal or any type of one of those wacky situations that we've seen in the past, I go Buckeyes by 6. I go low scoring, like a 27-21 Buckeye victory in Happy Valley. Fuck your white out. We're out. Continuing.
I hope so.
Week 6, in Columbus versus Indiana. Remember, we got worked over by these cocksuckers week 1 last year. Made our pass defense look mediocre at best. Guys were Spider-Man catching balls all over the place. Maybe that was Stickum, I don't know. I saw some spider webs shooting out from their hands. Didn't look like it was legit. But what do you think? This is in Columbus. These guys.
This is going to be a game where we have to come back from. We're actually going to be down in this football game.
Okay. You think this is a trap game?
Well, I don't think Indiana has quite a good enough program to hang with it the whole time. I think they have a good enough program to come out and shock us a little bit, especially, again, coming home from State College in Columbus. You're like, okay, we're home. You get a little, maybe you take it a little bit too easy, and good to be home. And Indiana comes out and plays football. Indiana's been playing some good football for a while now. I think their D hopefully is getting better. Their offense has always been solid.
Yeah.
I see them leading us in this game, but Buckeyes coming ahead late, and pretty much fourth quarter you should put it all to rest. But in a closer game than you want, I got 34-28.
Okay. So it gets a little late. They don't have that Richard Legow anymore.
I was never a big fan. I didn't think he was all that anyway. I just feel like I like the way they run their offense.
Yeah. They do have a senior quarterback. I don't know this kid, Brandon Dawkins. So they do have most of their receivers back. The Westbrook kid, Ellison, Timian. Oh, Ellison's a running back. But Timian, these guys were snagging everything out of the fucking air last year. They have 7 offensive returning starters, only 3 on defense. I think we take advantage of that defense easily. I think you could roll them by at least 3 touchdowns. I think we could have a little revenge on our minds from last year. We didn't take control of that game last year until late in the third. So I think we win by 3 touchdowns. I'm going to go Buckeyes 63-42. No, that sounds like way too many points. Let's go 63-21. Big victory.
You got a big victory over the Hoosiers.
Yeah. I do find us walking into that one a little weary, after a pounding against Penn State. Penn
State will be a college football game, man.
That's a rivalry game, yeah.
That's a big football game.
That's our new rival, in my opinion. But okay, Buckeyes roll through Indiana. ESPN gives us 95% chance of winning that. Thanks. Didn't need to know that. Following week is get healthy kind of week. We got Minnesota coming into Columbus.
They're rowing the boat in.
The Fighting Flex.
Yeah.
So
do they still row the boat, or he changes?
You goddamn right they do. They do not stop rowing.
Yeah, but in Minnesota, you think they'd like swing the axe? They got like Paul Bunyan and shit.
Yeah.
Row the boat in Western Michigan.
Do they have easy access to a body of water?
Well, Minnesota lay into 10,000 Lake.
Yeah.
But still, I think Paul Bunyan's from Minnesota, and I think he should swing the axe. Same concept.
Right. Like Prince says, cleanse yourselves in the bodies of Lake Minnetonka. So anyway, as a Chappelle reference for all
you. Let me tell you what's going to happen. So you got the new, firebrand PJ Fleck, tons of energy. I like that.
Yeah, second season.
He just don't have the dudes yet. And like I say, I think I'm a little different than you. I think we're coming off against a flat Indiana, and I think Minnesota is where we start to peak. And We beat Minnesota 60-0.
Ooh, wow.
Bam. Yeah, it's gonna be bad.
The PJs don't put up anything?
No, they don't.
Fuck.
It's gonna be a beating.
Wow.
Welcome to the big leagues.
Yeah, you're still not there. So yeah, they went 5-7 last year, which seems to be an upgrade for the Gophers. 7 returning starters on offense and defense. These guys, they kind of eked out a few W's last year. They actually beat Oregon State. They beat Nebraska badly, 54-21. But inconsistency seemed to be their problem. They got smoked, shut out at the end of the year by Northwestern and Wisconsin both. So, I expect more of the same. I don't think the Flecker has enough juice to roll into Columbus and start beating up on the Buckeyes. I think we go. I'm pushing us up into 70 range. I'm going 76. No, 70-13, because defense will be out of there at halftime. So we'll see some freshmen get in there and on defense and give up a little bit, but that's an easy dub. Next, rolling into Purdue against the Padoiler makers.
Over there in West Lafayette, telling you what,
Yeah,
Purdue's been building that program. Don't
Yeah.
kid yourself. They're getting better. They're getting that Big Ten money. And who's their coach now?
Jeff Brom.
You know what? I've seen him speak. I like his vision, if you will. Purdue, but they're also trending in the right direction, which they haven't trended in a positive direction for many, many decades.
They just landed a 5-star, dude. This week they just landed a fucking 5-star for 2019.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go, Purdue. So Purdue, after the drubbing we put on fucking Minnesota, we are gonna, be reading our own press like, all right, we are the shit.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna come to Purdue, and Purdue's gonna put you in a football game as well.
Yeah.
And they're gonna hang with you till halftime, and then the Buckeyes are still gonna win 45-24 at West Lafayette.
Ooh. So giving up a little bit of points. Purdue was 7-6 last year. First time they were over 500 in quite a while. They were.
I like a defensive touchdown. I like a defensive touchdown in this game against Purdue.
love a defensive touchdown. I want nothing more. 9 returning starters on offense and 4 on defense. Interesting. That offense might have a little firepower. Looks like they worked over some clowns in the Big Ten last year and smashed Missouri 35-3. You believe that shit?
Yeah.
That's an SEC team, by the way, just by title. That's all. Beat Minnesota, beat Illinois, beat Iowa, beat Indiana. So these guys are no joke. They finished the season strong.
They're beating all the underling teams, and they don't beat the upper end yet. So I mean, they're like Purdue. Like I said, they're trending up. They play tough.
Yep, their stock is rising. I agree. I'm going to go Buckeyes. Roll into Purdue. It's never a fun place to play. It's like in the middle of a cornfield and shit. I think Buckeyes go in there and just kind of roll through them. I'm going to go like a low-scoring Buckeye affair, 39-17. Not an all-out domination, but maybe we take the lead in the third and just roll. So here we go. We get into the meat of the schedule here. This is the stretch run.
It started. Well, don't kid yourself. Purdue started that stretch run. Purdue, fun football team.
We've lost games there.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
Purdue to me is the game that is most like. Now I hope we don't. At West Lafayette is the game most like Iowa last year. As far as the way it sets up, as far as at their play, I don't think we'll get caught like that again. But Purdue starts that meet. But anyway, onward and downward.
All right. So we welcome Nebraska into Columbus, November 3rd. These guys, I don't know how they went 4-8 last year. They had some firepower. Spielman's nephew, that kid is electric, man. I would just give him the ball every fucking play on a jet sweep. So they got 7 returning starters on offense, 8 on defense. These guys got some experience in the house. I don't get how they lost 8 games last year against garbage teams.
Yeah, maybe those guys coming back aren't that good.
Yeah, maybe. Jesus. Yeah, they only beat Rutgers, Illinois, Arkansas State, and Purdue. And Purdue they beat by 1 fucking point. They lost to everybody. Illinois.
So all the guys coming back are awful.
Maybe. So they got Scott Frost in there, though. First year guy. He's going to bring some juice, obviously, some energy. And he's coming back to Nebraska, his school. He's the alumni guy. So, tears in his eyes, I guess. What do you think? You think coming in Columbus they got any juice?
This one's one of the hardest for me to pick because I don't know. Like I said, they got a bunch of turning. They got the new coach that look what he did down there in your neck of the nape at UCF.
Right.
I don't know. Can this guy coach? It appears like he can, or is he just another PJ Fleck? Which I mean, I'm not saying PJ can't coach, but we'll see. You haven't yet at this level. It's tough.
I think recruiting is going to take a few years to take hold and establish. Maybe.
I think it probably gets better than it has been, though. I mean, you got a guy that's like, look, man, I took, nobody to a top-ranked team, which they were. UCF was legit.
National champs, just ask them.
I don't know about all that, but what I do know is...
Self-proclaimed.
Right? But who'd they beat in the big bowl game? Florida State?
No. I don't know. I'll find that for you, but go ahead.
So yeah, I'm not really certain on this Nebraska game. Well, about the score, I'm certain that we will win, and I'm just not certain if it's going to be a blowout or a close game. So let me shake the crystal ball here.
Sure.
Let's see. Coming up. Boring game, just like boring Nebraska. 35-10.
Oh. You think it's that close, huh? Yeah. I could see that. 3-touchdown victory by the Buckeyes. Yeah, I somewhat agree with you. I think they're going to come in here with a little juice. Frosty is gonna be waving the flag and trying to get these guys motivated. But I think they got. I don't even know who the hell their quarterback is, but they're screwed. I think the Buckeyes win easily by like a score of 38-10 easily, maybe more. I think the Buckeyes win going away again. as most of these games have.
We have been killing those guys like 60-3 and shit over the last some years, right?
Yeah, last year we beat them in their house 56-14 in a game that was never close. So yeah. So let's shuffle on in to this bing bang boom last 3 weeks of the season. Michigan State. This is a tough one. In Spartyville, November 10th. What do you think?
This is, it was basically, I'm just thinking that Ohio State has to lose a game somewhere along the season. And it was basically between this one and Penn State, where, not to say I can't, you haven't heard my Michigan pick yet, but before going into that game, I feel like we're going to lose the game, just because it's so hard to win them all. So it was Penn State, Michigan State. This one's at East Lansing. Now, my problem is Sparty hasn't beaten Ohio State in East Lansing since like 1999.
Yep.
We fucking kicked their ass in East Lansing. My problem is they've got like 19 returning starters.
Yeah.
Like the whole offense, the whole defense. And so I think, well, that's going to be good for them. But then I think, well, aren't those the guys that we like beat 48-3 or whatever the fuck last year?
Exactly. Yes.
So I'm conflicted about this. The Fighting D'Antonios always play us hard.
And depends on the weather too. We all know that.
Oh yeah, it'll probably be freaking
hail,
gale force winds.
Right. D'Antonio fucking jerk fest.
Yeah, him grimacing the whole time, all pissed off.
Wearing his beanie.
Sideline. You know what? Fuck it. I can't do it. I'm not giving the Sparties a victory. I'm going Buckeyes in a hardly contested game.
Ooh.
21-17 in the weather.
Yeah. Close one, huh? Nice. Yeah, I think the running game takes over. I don't think they have the horses on D to deal with a Weber and Dobbins combination. As I think the entire schedule, I don't think anybody has the horses to deal with our O-line and our running backs. Nobody's faced a duo like this. And you mix in some downfield passing to stretch the defense. I don't care what
playmakers everywhere.
Yeah, I don't care the elements. The elements will slow down the downfield passing for sure. I think Buckeyes go in there again and roll Sparty by 14. I think we go in there 24-10, and it's an easy W. It's not a close game.
They get that 7. They get that 7 or that field goal late.
Yep, make it look good on the fucking scoreboard. So, all right, 2 more weeks to go. We are at Maryland against the Fighting Jerkins. What do you think? We smashed these fools pretty badly last year. What do we do to them? Middle of the season, we beat them 62-14.
It isn't going to be that. It isn't going to be that way this time. This is kind of our breather game.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to be a little bit off this week. Not that we're going to be off enough to lose.
Just a recovery game.
Yeah, I feel. I mean, you just went Purdue, Nebraska, Michigan State. It's like, all right, you got a breath. You play Maryland, who's also trending upward. I feel like Maryland's getting better as a program. They're certainly not there yet, but I feel like they're ahead of Rutgers.
Yeah, I agree.
So
they went 4-8 last year, and they got 8 guys coming back on offense, 5 on defense.
All right, and you got the Durkin.
Beat Texas last year.
I know. I was super high on them, and if I remember, they were in most of their games.
Yeah,
obviously not the Buckeye game, but feel like they were in most of their games.
Yeah, I feel like their record doesn't really indicate their upside. I mean, they were in a close game with Michigan State, smashed by Penn State, smashed by the Buckeyes, smashed by Michigan, smashed by UCF.
Look, I don't know who it's going to be, and it might be it might be several teams, but between Indiana, Purdue, and Maryland, they are going to have at least one, probably two victories against the likes of Ohio State, Michigan, Michigan State, Penn State. They're going to show up in a game and jump on you, and again, they don't play bad football.
Yeah.
But it's going to be too much for Maryland late in the season. You know, those guys returning, they're probably mediocre at best. Half of them will be hurt by then too. And Maryland, we'll walk through Maryland like 42-3.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. Even though this is in Maryland, I think we easily win. I'll give him 12 points. I'll go like a 56-12 kind of victory. Again, weather is obviously going to be an issue in mid-November, so it turns into a running game kind of situation. You can pull back 7 off of that, but I'm going to go 56-14. So that leaves us with the final game of the season against the team up north, the Shittigans. Interesting, ESPN's given us a 71% chance of winning that game. I thought it'd be a little closer.
They love them some Michigan and Harbaugh.
But Michigan State was 52%. Interesting. Anyway, so the hard balls were 8-5 last year. In case you didn't remember, I surely do because I won money on that. Offense is returning 8 starters, defense 9. Wow.
On a top, weren't they top 3D last year?
Ooh, that was almost a good sneeze. I think I just had an aneurysm. Oh. Their defense last year, I don't know where they finished, but yeah, they're top 5 in the country. D-line is almost all back. They lost, 1 or 2 guys. They lost a linebacker. These guys, I don't know how they finished 8-5.
They got Gary and Winovich on the ends.
Right.
Two
they
solid
lost
DNs.
Hurst.
Hurst was a beast up front, and then they got that linebacker who's a stud. A little undersized, like 5'10", whatever, playing in the middle. He's everywhere. But up the middle, I don't know how they're going to handle us.
Yeah, exactly. I think, again, like I've been saying throughout the schedule, I think the running game has no match on the defensive side of the ball. I don't know how you shut down this O-line and dual running backs. I mean, look at Michigan's schedule last year. They beat up on fucking powder puffs, man. They beat Florida, Cincinnati, Air Force, Purdue, Indiana in overtime, fucking Rutgers, Minnesota, Maryland. They got healthy off of fucking garbage. You know?
Yeah, they beat all the bums. They never win a big game.
Yeah,
ever.
They lost Michigan State, Penn State, Wisconsin, Ohio State. And then their bowl game.
They play all 4 of those again, regular season, and throw on Notre Dame.
To start the season. Yes. Oh, they are fucked. I'm sad to say.
I would like to think so.
They do get a bye week before Penn State, so that's a reprieve somewhat. But still, they're going to get smashed by Notre Dame. I'm telling you.
I don't know. Michigan could be pretty damn good this year, but the problem is their schedule is so fucking hard. Even if they are pretty good, I don't see how they don't lose 2 games.
They have like third hardest schedule in the country. Ours is 52nd.
Yeah, because you throw in regular season, basically they have the same as us, except throw in Notre
Wisconsin.
Dame and Wisconsin.
Yeah, yeah, 2 tough teams, and don't be surprised if that Jonathan Taylor from Wisconsin's up for a Heisman by
I know.
So, yeah, they're going to get rolled. That's in Madison. So,
No,
what do you think,
I don't think so.
coming into Columbus?
No, that's not in Madison, though. I think that's in Ann Arbor. Their 3 away
Oh, I'm
games
sorry. You're right. Yep, that's at home.
are Notre Dame, Michigan State, Ohio State.
Yep.
Which, I don't know if you remember, it was like a couple weeks ago, I think you even sent me the thing. Michigan is 0-16 on the road against ranked teams since like 2006.
Yep.
And now you're going to expect them to go 3-0 this year?
Right.
Good luck.
And don't forget about Northwestern. That's an away game.
Yeah. That's
after Nebraska. And Nebraska's going to be a fucking war for them.
probably.
Got your ass in the jackpot.
So I think if this Ed Werner shit is true, and they're coming to Columbus, and you know they're going to be jawing all year that Urban's dirty, and they're going to come into Columbus, and Buckeye Nation is going to overwhelm them, and Michigan's going to get rolled this year in Columbus for Harbaugh's 4th game. All your kids, 4th season, and they're going to get beat 54-17 in Columbus.
Wow. I like that. I don't know if it's going to be that big a victory. I think the Buckeyes battle through a long season, and I think it's a little tighter. I'm going to go like a 45-21 kind of victory. I think Michigan ekes out 21 points somehow. Maybe a Dwayne Haskins pick 6 or something. But anyway, I think we roll easily, and another W for the Buckeyes. So we go 12-0, right?
No, well,
that's how we mapped it out.
Well, it is, but I'm gonna say I'm guessing I'm gonna be wrong on Penn State or Michigan State. One of those teams that is probably gonna beat us.
It better be a good team, not fucking Iowa.
Well, that Purdue game, man.
It's a trappy.
Watch out for that Purdue game.
All right. My trap game is Michigan State.
Michigan State isn't a trap. Michigan State's a legit threat. Nobody's beat us more in the Big Ten than Michigan State.
Right, but I'm saying that Nebraska game might be a war, might be more of a battle, and then we got to pick ourselves back up for Michigan State the following week after an intense game. You don't know Scott Frost.
I don't know Scott Frost.
I don't see another trap game, dude. I'm trying to make shit up. I don't see it. Penn State after Tulane? No. Indiana after Penn State? Maybe, I guess, kinda.
Yep, that's the other one. To me,
but it's in Columbus.
The Indiana or Purdue game.
I'm looking at away games that could be traps. Purdue after Minnesota? No. Michigan State after...
Purdue is the trap game. I'm telling you. Who's going to play our asses off?
After Minnesota?
Yeah, because we're gonna be all... Because we're going to blow Minnesota out. We're going to be all, see, bitches?
Yeah.
We're the Buckeyes, and we're gonna make stupid mistakes. Showboat mistakes.
Okay.
Purdue's the game.
All right. I think Michigan State is the game.
That's not a trap, though. That's just a serious football game. I don't know what their schedule is. I don't think they play dick outside of conference.
What about Nebraska?
I don't know. They play Ohio State and Michigan at home. They do go to Penn State, which they'll probably lose that game.
All right. Well, you heard it here first, folks. Buckeyes are going 12-0, and every game's not even going to be close.
No, there's a couple close ones.
Relatively.
I got 2 games within 6 points.
All right. We'll take that.
Penn State and MSU. Nope, and Indiana.
Yep. We'll see how this pans out. I'm interested. All this is up in the air until we have some concrete message next week on Herb's status going forward. But I feel really good about the schedule. I don't see the Iowa game like last year. I don't see a trap, like a true trap game where we're coming down off of a tough one. Except
sick
for
kids looking at you.
Right. You know. So we'll see. But anyway, that's a good breakdown. I love giving a nice breakdown, and we're gonna hold you to it, Shawn.
Yeah, no, but hey, these are the locks. These are the preseason locks.
All right.
I'll reassess if Urban Meyer's not our coach. This is what I'm expecting, essentially, from an Urban Meyer coach. I might want to reassess if it's not.
Yeah.
But probably not by much. But yeah, I want to reassess.
Okay. Then that's what we'll do. We'll do another show. This is the assuming Urban Meyer is the head coach show. Then if things change for whatever reason, then we'll do another episode with a new head coach in mind.
Perfect.
Makes sense. And we're going to talk some recruiting. Oh, we have so much to talk about before the season starts, and camp started already.
Like 28 days?
Yeah, we have camp started. We got position battles to cover. Who knows when the media is going to be allowed into practice? Maybe never. But they're cut off right now. There's like no availability media-wise at all. So, and maybe they need to keep it that way.
Yeah, I would say.
So that's fine with me. We have to speculate on the position battles and things like that, but those are important. O-line, linebackers, things like that are key. So we're going to get into all that shit